The buzz.
The buzz.
The buzz. The buzz.
The buzz is on.
The buzz is on.
The show that gets you up close and personal with some of the hottest stars. Now, here's your host, NaVell J. Lee.
Welcome back into The Buzz. I'm so excited for my next guest who is joining me. You may have seen her face. You may have also heard her voice in some games as well. But you're going to get to see her in Spartacus, House of Ashur this December. Claudia Black is joining me right now. How are you?
Oh my gosh, excited. We feel like we've been in this sort of mass fever dream where it's like, did we really make a show? Did that really all happen? And now we're all excitedly talking to each other and
I
talking
know.
about each other's performances. It's a treat. And to be talking to y'all as well. Have you seen any of the apps yet?
Not yet, because I'm still waiting for get on the ball, stars. Give me my screeners. I'm waiting. So I'm excited to get that in my inbox so I can watch these episodes and give my take on it because I was excited when I got to see the panel at Comic-Con this past July. So the fact that I got to be in the room with the cast and crew and as well
hmm
as the press conference that took place
hmm
as well, it was such a thrill for me just to see this come together and just see some reunions from the past Spartacus shows come together for Comic-Con as well.
hmm
So I was just very excited. So I'm excited for December 5th to come around for everybody to take a look at it. But for those that would like to know, especially myself, your character in this series, can we describe who she is? And I'm going to probably say this name wrong. Is it Cossutia? Or is it how you say the name?
In the show Cossutia, yes, we were all asked to
Cossutia.
sort of regulate our pronunciations of things, and Cossutia was how we named her or pronounced her. She's loosely based on someone who ostensibly existed in history and was connected to Caesar and his wife Cornelia. So this is a very uh, creative representation because none of us, not a single one of us, was there at the time to say whether this is
Yeah,
historically accurate or not.
you never
Fair,
know.
well, fair game, right? I mean, I've done a lot of shows about the quantum realm and time travel and stuff, so
That is true.
anything is possible.
Farscape, Stargate, what can you?
Yep. She might have just popped through the Stargate, bless her. So she is a woman of means. She's a senator's wife, Cossutia, but
Hmm.
she's aging. And in all patriarchies, women who age become decreasingly relevant.
Yeah.
And she now has to find a suitable match for her glorious daughter because then she too will have secured not only her daughter's future, but her own as well.
Mm. So we could say she's a little bit scheming, devious.
If she had a mustache, she might be twirling it. But she's
Ah,
also,
okay, okay.
however, and please, someone give a girlfriend a heads up. If we see the mustache, please tell me.
If we see
The
the mustache, we will. If I am watching it and I will be live tweeting it. Yes, guys, I still call it live tweeting, even though it's called X. If I'm
Me
live
too.
tweeting the show, I will definitely make sure to mention that we got to tweak this a little bit here. Like,
Oh, thank you. That's a real girlfriend. Thank you. I appreciate it because some people just don't. Some people just don't tell you. Um, so, uh, I mean, no one thinks that they're the villain in their own story, right?
of
And
course.
I would say she has limited options, but she certainly doesn't shy away from doing whatever she thinks is necessary to politically as well. She's very intelligent, and so her scheming comes from a sort of an elevated or cerebral position rather than uh, just purely operating from fight or flight. But she definitely is in survival mode and would justify what she's doing accordingly. But her husband, they have a really interesting relationship where he certainly doesn't agree with her more progressive politics, we could say. He's definitely part of the old guard, and he's getting older, so her position is not as secure as it once was. So she now has to learn to think and maneuver for herself, or she's going to have a pretty nasty future.
That's interesting. What was the whole thing like when you got the role, you read for it, and you got to act alongside this cast and crew? Because, I mean, just even when I watched the previous incarnations of the show, it's just so. invigorating to watch, and especially how action, romance, we kind of teased about that, guys, before we even jumped on here about that, how this show is. Just so what was that process like for you when you went in and you read for the role and then
Well, actually, this role came to me as an offer. I did not have to audition for it.
oh
Uh, yes. 30 years in genre, guys. Occasionally, occasionally they throw you a bone. And what a juicy bone this was. They left a lot of meat on it. So let's labor some metaphors, shall we?
yes, of
Um,
course.
I this started on the aforementioned and aforenamed Twitter. I also refused to work with the name change. I like the dead name.
Hmm.
I in this instance only. Um, I had decided I was sort of figuring out social media. I still have an issue with most platforms, and I actually found more flow on Twitter once I understood it. I was like, wow,
Same.
this is my one-stop shop. I can get educated. I can find all of these people around the world who know much more than I do on these subjects, and I would like to really start to read and understand in depth what's happening in the world and in America and understand politics. And I applied for citizenship because I had sort of decided to be a bit more personal on Twitter. And there were a couple of things that really I thought, actually, I'm going to speak up. I have a point of view on this. I have lived
Hmm.
experience. I will offer this story. And it went viral. And all these people that I respect, whose work I've watched for years, started saying, this is an amazing story and retweeting it. I was like,
Yeah.
and at the same time, wow, okay, we all should, when we are in our lane, maybe we should put our hands up.
Yeah.
And one of the people who retweeted was Stephen DeKnight, who I'd never met. And he said, I love this actress, not verbatim, but he said something like, I love this actress. I would work with her in a heartbeat. And I wrote back cheekily, available for coffee anytime, just to chat about, work opportunities. And there was something about that moment where I thought, I think a seed has been sown. And it bore out. My manager ended up telling me that Spartacus was rebooting and there was an age appropriate role for me and that my manager could very much see me embodying. And I said, I have a funny feeling Stephen wrote this with me in mind. And sure
Okay.
enough, we had a Zoom meeting and they said, just need to check to see if you're a complete maniac of a human. And if you're not, we'd like to offer you this role. So my experience, it was funny. We get to the read through where everyone's assembled in New Zealand,
Hmm.
and Stephen and Rick Jacobson suddenly went, oh my God, we haven't auditioned her. What if she can't speak archaic language? This is like Shakespeare. What if she's a disaster with it? So they were a little nervous before the read through. And we
Wow.
had we had senior members of STARZ. They'd flown in, which is rare to travel that distance. A lot of heavy hitters in the room, a lot of people, a lot of time and money invested in this. And at the last minute, they say to me, gosh, we hope you can handle this language. But then one of the producers asked me to cold read two other parts because they're unwell and can't attend. So I
Okay.
cold read two roles and read my own. And at the end, Jacobson came up behind me and just gave me a little peck on the cheek and walked off. And I was like, that was kind of like, that'll do, pig, that'll do. I guess I
Yeah.
did a good enough job.
That's that little pat on the back going like, yeah, I got this. We're good.
She can read. She
She could
she
be.
can say words.
I know we got a couple more minutes yet before we wrap up, but I wanted to call out this. I came across this video of you on YouTube where
Oh no.
it was basically of you and another girl, and I apologize for getting this girl's name, but it was warm-ups for when you do voice acting, which I thought was like, does this actually really happen when you do warm-ups where you're doing that whole thing with the mouth? Like, is that really what you're doing? But then it was also interesting when you made the comment of you find laughter harder to do than I think you said crying.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kind of pique your brain as to why is that harder? Why is laughter harder than crying?
Oh, I mean, good question. And I would want to, it deserves a longer, thoughtful response. I mean, or more thought before the response. But my initial reaction is, and maybe this girl thinks she's got more to cry about than laugh about, but it's not true. It's not true. I just think that even when I go to meetings and I make a joke, most people in the room, especially men, will go, "Oh, that's funny," and they're
Mm,
in their mind, and they're thinking about, from an analytical standpoint, the architecture of what made that funny. Like, why is that funny? They're thinking about the structure of it. And
I get what you're saying.
see when you see interviews with stand-up comedians, they're analyzing a lot of the time
Right.
because they're wanting to try and, I think, figure out, how do I replicate this? And when I went to Groundlings, it was, and other places like, IO West and some of the other improv schools, they're wanting you to identify the comedic premise in the joke. So there's always
Okay.
this presence of mind in understanding what makes something funny. And laughter, that level of hard laughter where it's uncontrollable, is so embodied
Hmm.
that it's rare to be in an environment, performance-wise, I think, where I would be tickled that much by something that I could just allow myself to go that
To
far. I
go
don't know.
that where.
Yeah, but also it's rare that we allow ourselves to find something that funny. Usually when people are tipsy or they're high or something, a lot of their other defenses are down and they can allow themselves that
That
full
inhibition
laughter.
starts to release that out of them, which,
Right.
yeah.
Right. So maybe I'm more inhibited when it comes to laughter. And I do find, even though I'm obsessed with making people laugh, like my favorite thing in the world is to make my mother laugh more than anyone else can,
Hmm.
until she either pees or has an asthma attack. And I'm like, when I just make, because it's not easy. And I think you have to know someone really well to do that. Like, you have
Yeah.
to really know how to keep working at them until boom, you got them.
Yep.
And I am thinking about that more, because I have had auditions, or I've had a scene where I'm supposed to laugh uncontrollably, and it just feels forced. And
Hmm.
also, it can happen with tears too. I have to work hard to make sure that the tears are still rolling and that I haven't dried up these
Yeah.
days. So, but it's an interesting question.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I definitely would love to have you back for a longer conversation so we could dive into that even more. As well as once Spartacus House of Ashur premieres, and after I got my taste of the film, I get to talk about what I get to experience from the entire series. So the door is always open. We'd love to have you back. It was so much fun to have you here. Thank you so, so much. Spartacus House of Ashur premieres on Stars on December 5th. I think I got the date right, guys. And if
You
not,
sure
will
did.
correct
You
me.
did.
I
I'd
did.
be, I'd love to come back. I really would.
Well, like I said, door open, seat here. There you go. Claudia Black, everybody. Thank you so much.
So lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you. Did you know that you could stream and download our podcast no matter where you are? Now you can. Log on to these platforms, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music, and you can download and stream all of our shows from the beginning. That's right, we go back to 2007. Plus, for more information on past shows and upcoming material, you can log on to our website at buzzworthyradiocast.com. Stream and download Buzzworthy Radio where you can get all of your podcasts.
Stay in the know. Catch up on all the Buzz podcasts and videos at buzzworthyradiocast.com. Keep getting the latest buzz with Buzzworthy Radio, now on Amazon Music.